What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS podcast and live stream for Tuesday's 13-game main slate. James, this is the final week of the NBA regular season. We had no games on Monday due to the NCAA championship game. Congratulations to UConn on their blowout victory. Really no sweat for UConn there in the Final Four or the championship game. Beat San Diego State last night. But we now have, in turn, 13 games on the NBA slate. Again, as we wind down the NBA calendar, we have teams looking to already sit and bench some of their top guys. We also have plenty of teams still well within the playoff hunt that are going to be competing here. So it should be a good mix of value and top-end guys that we can build around today.
Yeah, we mentioned it. We were just talking before we started this pod, but 11 teams still alive in the East. Only the Magic can catch the Chicago Bulls for the 10 seed, but it's a four-game difference. So it looks like my Chicago Bulls will be the 10 seed, could be the 8 seed, depending on what happens with the Hawks. But somewhere between there's 12 teams in the West,
right,
that are still vying for playoff spots. The Utah Jazz are the 12 seed, a game and a half behind the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Dallas Mavericks are currently sitting outside looking in, a game back. There's talk about the Mavs shutting down Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving.
Can you imagine shutting them down a game out of the playoffs?
I don't know. There's rumors about Kyrie Irving exploring free agency, which I think we all expected, but things obviously have not gone well for Dallas with Kyrie and Luka.
I can't imagine a team wanting to sign Kyrie Irving the way he's just imploded organizations the last three teams it's been on.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure this is his fault, the Dallas thing. I don't know what to make of it, right? Luka said he wasn't happy. Is that a direct shot at Kyrie? I don't think so.
I do. I think he doesn't like the guys they traded away for him.
I mean, I think it's more the coach because him and Jason Kidd have not got along all year long. Sure. I also think it's just player structure. Like when you look at the team, it's just not a well-built team.
They also don't play Christian Wood. I feel like this is like Billy Bean in Moneyball, right? When Art Howe wouldn't play Hatterberg, it's right. Like you have Christian Wood, put him on the floor,
Christian Wood probably better than Scott Hatterberg, but yes, I agree. It's a good analogy. But yeah, 12 teams currently in the playoff picture. The top 8 all have winning records. The Timberwolves and the Thunder do not. The Phoenix Suns getting hot at the right time. Kevin Durant being there. They haven't lost with Kevin Durant yet. So a lot of interesting things going down tonight. In terms of Vegas, we have a 242 total into Western Conference playoff teams in OKC and Golden State. Golden State 8-point favorites. Phoenix, San Antonio, 236 total, John. 19-point spread in that game. Memphis, 17.5-point spread against Portland. 228 total in that game. 237 spread in Lakers, Utah. Lakers are opened at 7-point favorites. They are now 9-point favorites. I mean, this is just what to expect, right? Toronto, 14.5-point favorites against Charlotte, who pretty much ruled everyone out. Miami, 12.5-point favorites against Detroit.
Portland was 19.5-point favorites over underdogs, by the way, against Minnesota the other day and won outright. So anything's possible.
Memphis full strength team. I don't think it's going to happen. But I guess like you said, anything's possible. Atlanta, Chicago. I guess meaningful seeding game there. Chicago could move up and pass Atlanta for maybe the 8 seed and maybe host.
Yeah, listen, Chicago's only 3 games out of the 7, so
234.5 total there, 3.5-point spread. The Bulls are favored at home in that game.
I like it.
And 236 total, 236.5 in Sacramento, New Orleans. New Orleans 4. Is there Sacramento news? New Orleans 4-point favorites at home against Sacramento?
I don't see anybody not playing for them.
I mean, I know New Orleans has been really good lately.
I mean, Brent Ingram's has been ridiculous.
Yeah, but who's been ridiculous the entire year? Sacramento.
Sabonis?
No, just Sacramento.
Not defensively, though, so maybe that's where they're looking at it, right?
Yeah,
maybe
but 4-point favorites.
Yeah.
Sacramento is 24-14 on the road.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm just confused. That's just, again, Sacramento not getting their flowers, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. People want to say Sacramento's going to be the one team to get upset in the first round. So be it. Right now, 3 versus 6 seed in the Western Conference, John, is Sacramento Golden State.
Yep.
So Golden State can't win on the road, so we'll see how that plays out. But those are your notable Vegas and Washington 13-point road or home dogs against Milwaukee.
Yep. All right. You mentioned Golden State can't win on the road. Well, good thing for them. They're home today. Steph Curry at home 10-6. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 10K. John Morant's at 99. James Harden against Boston here at 95. Your top 4 price point guards on the slate. Again, 13 games, so there's a large player pool. There's going to be some value we can target. If we're looking at spending up on today's slate, are the guards where you want to go? Or do you think we're looking more so at like a Giannis, Embiid, Jokic potentially here against Houston, assuming he's ready to play? I mean, where are we looking to spend up today?
I mean, Embiid, realistically, there's no Rob Williams in this game. I believe Boston already officially ruled him out, right? So I'm not sure Boston has anything to stop Joel Embiid. So that would probably be the first place I'd look. Mike Malone already said he's being cautious with Jokic. So I'm not sure he's going to play if the calf is bothering him at all, especially with 3-game lead. I mean, as long as they win this game against Houston, which I think they can win without Jokic, like they're not going to lose the 1 seed. Giannis in a 13-point spread. Point guard's fine. Like I would get to SGA. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's fine. Probably not going to get to Curry 10-6. I love Morant 99, and I think the comments that Taylor Jenkins made about him playing the starters big minutes has kind of been true. Like they didn't need him in that Clippers game.
Yeah.
But then in a 21-point loss, he plays 34 minutes. And if Ja's going to play 34 minutes, I mean, 34-plus minute Ja is dangerous because if his shot's falling, we know he has triple-double upside, which we just saw last game. And Harden, a tough matchup for Harden, but we know he's going to be on the floor for 38 minutes. So I like James Harden as well.
Yeah. Mid-tier range here. Trae Young's at $8,600. I know he's questionable.
Here we go, dude.
But
Here we go.
If he's in, you kind of have to, don't you?
Look at the minutes.
I know.
Look at the minutes.
I know.
And guess where James played him, John? Brooklyn.
Yikes.
3 of 12. That was I had, if Trae Young was moderately good, I'd probably win a GPP. I had a A-plus lineup with Trae. Look, 35, 36, 32, 41 minutes. Everything is trending in the right direction. If he is going to play, I am going to have interest in Trae Young. This game matters for seeding. They realistically could get the 7 seed, as you mentioned, if Miami struggles, which they kind of have 5-5 their last 10. So this game does mean something to Atlanta. So if Trae is fine, I am fine going there. I believe Milwaukee already ruled out Chris Middleton. So I'd be okay getting to Drew Holiday as well. Can't get to Maxey, Van Vliet. I don't see a scenario how that game stays competitive. But in a 20-point game, he had 20 assists against Charlotte, John, last game. 20. Yeah. He had a 20-20 game. What did I miss? And now he gets Charlotte again.
Yep.
So you can get the Trae.
Listen, the one thing we've always talked about with Toronto, and I guess Charlotte, is no matter what the scores of these games, those guys play 35 minutes.
So would you rather play 86 Trae, who's questionable in a tougher spot, who might play 32 minutes, or 38 minutes guaranteed of it, Fleet coming off 20-20? I think I'd rather play
I feel
Van
like
Vliet.
if Trae Young's in the game, I'd rather play Trae Young. But because that game feels like it
means more by a mile.
It means more.
By a mile. But, I mean, to at least to the Toronto side of things, it means a lot to Toronto because
But like
they also
yeah, and to that point, not like it does mean a lot to Toronto. It's a better matchup for them. De'Aaron Fox is $7,700. So
yeah
like
yeah that's a
like just De'Aaron Fox, KBJ's at 77. Like
both
I
guys
don't
gonna
know
play
what's
40
going on
minutes.
with these pricings here. De'Aaron Fox is not a $7,700 player. So
No. And elephant in the room, Jokic doesn't play. Jamal Murray's 78. It's
right,
going to be one of the more popular plays.
100%. So like I still like Trae Young. I get the Maxey Van Vliet.
I don't Maxi. No, I don't have interest in Maxi if they're full strength. 8100's criminal.
Would you play Shaden Sharp at 8K?
Probably.
I mean, that guy's been unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been very good. I mean, good. I'm happy because lottery pick. I saw a scenario that said if he didn't leave Kentucky and left this year, where would he go? And I figured he'd probably go in like the same spot.
Yep.
He wouldn't go in front of Wemby.
Dinwiddie's 3 straight games of double doubles as well. So like,
yeah, I mean, this whole tier is really appealing, because they're all playing big minutes, and they're all kind of in meaningful basketball. And then if Trey doesn't play, you have DeJounte all by his loan.
76. Yep. I mean, McCollum $7,500 is a really great price tag for him there. I like Hero at 67 against Detroit. That feels like a pretty great spot for him.
Miami needs to win. Miami needs to win to stay out of this. I mean, they are in. They can still catch Brooklyn and not have to deal with the play-in game.
Right. So. Maladon played 41 minutes in that game at 40 fantasy points.
Yep. And he was 4 for 16 from the floor. So imagine he's just like 6 of 16 or 7 of 16 from the floor.
Right. Cole Anthony keeps doing Cole Anthony things. 28, 31 minutes, just shooting double-digit shot attempts. At 59, he gets Cleveland, tough spot, obviously, but like he's been very productive. Let's see here. Anybody else down here that you're looking at? Trey Jones, maybe 56.
Yeah, Trey Jones is fine. Brogdon continues to play big minutes for Boston. I think
Trey Jones coming off a big triple double too, by the way.
Trey Jones is awesome. He's just unfortunately on the team that he's on. Right. I am okay with Jones. I'm okay with Brogdon. I think no Rob Williams helps Brogdon a lot because they just are going smaller, and they can do that against Philadelphia as well, with Tobias being the power forward in Philly.
Yeah.
Like both those guys. Do we have Monty Morris status? Is he off the injury report?
He's out.
He's out. I mean, we're gonna play anyone that's breathing in Washington.
Yeah, Goodwin,
DeLon Wright,
Davis, right?
Yep. Goodwin played 24 minutes, had 31 fantasy points last game.
Davis played 30 minutes.
Yep, was their first round pick. Like DeLon Wright, 5,500 still feels pretty good. So pretty good 5K tier as well.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Any other value guys other than the ones we just mentioned?
I played Book Night the other day. He was in my Trae Young lineup, and that's why I was like, I would have won a tournament with like a moderate version of Trae Young.
Okay.
And he went nuts, and he's been good the last 2 games, 21 and 22 actual points. Yeah. He's kind of limited. Hate that he's only point guard eligible. Like I wish there was multi-position eligibility there because he's Maladon played 40 minutes. Right. He's obviously not playing just point guard. So yeah, I mean I could get there. Shaq Harrison played 24 and 18 minutes since signing with Portland. Like if you want to, take a flyer on him, he's been good on a fantasy point per minute basis.
Colin Sexton questionable on the Clouds. Why even bring him back?
No, please don't.
But I mean, like he could start at point guard if he's active today. So
no, yeah, but 18 games with a hamstring. He hasn't played since February 15th. Coming off like after a torn, was it an Achilles or ACL that he tore?
ACL.
Then he comes back, and then now like a hamstring. Like no point in rushing him back. So I don't think I would have much interest in Colin Sexton unless they came out and were like, yeah, we're okay with playing him 30 minutes.
Okay, let's go to shooting guard. Booker's 96. Jaylen Brown questionable. That's something.
Yeah, I mean that would heighten our obviously Brogdon is I think of like the trio of guards that you can select, Brogdon I think would be
we generally like Brogdon. Yeah, Derek White
but
obviously has his moments.
White and Smart would definitely be firmly more in play because I mean Smart's minutes are solidified. It seems like Brogdon's minutes with Rob Williams out or just like late season they want Brogdon to play more because he's probably going to play a lot in the
Oh yeah.
postseason. And then White's, I think of the three, White's minutes probably more solidified than like normal without James.
I agree. Yeah, I mean they'll play the guards over playing like Sam Hauser in playoffs, right? So that's where they'll go. Booker's 96, JB as we mentioned 92. JB's in. I'm fine at 9200. I don't know. I never really played Donovan Mitchell. I mean I'm not gonna if you want.
He has been incredible. He has been incredible. This is 40
point game.
Dude, this is like gearing up for him gearing up for postseason Donovan Mitchell. This is like bubble Donovan Mitchell.
And this could be like in Orlando, like Orlando could be somewhat competitive in this game for a little bit. Yeah. So like
dude, Orlando's still they are the only team outside of the top 10 that can still make the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So, Giddey's been good, but obviously as Shea back kills a little bit of the ceiling there. Mikal Bridges just keeps just balling out.
Dude, he should honestly like be a 9K player. Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure why
he's not. They finally bought them up over 8K, so and he went for 47.
And he still went for 47.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards is down to 81, by the way. I get that Towns being back, whatever, but he went for 37 actual against Portland in that game they lost. So
he needs it because he's not. I get it. Like the assistant. We always. I said this to you earlier in the year. Like there was no way the Steelers were going to be on the like trajectory that they were during that like insane 2+ stretch that he had. I don't know if it's just him being like less aggressive everywhere because Towns is back, but like everything else is suffering, so he needs the 30 to get. But it is a good price. Yep. It is a good price.
Yep. THT has been ridiculous. 41, 28, and 32 actual the last 3 games for Talon and Tucker. Yep. He's 7,800. Obviously, Zach LaVine at 79, coming off a 50 fantasy point game.
Ooh, dude, under 8K. LaVine.
Under 8K, dude. Again, I said this during our NBA DFS podcast that we did a little bit earlier this morning. They forgot about NBA a long time ago, so there's some interesting pricing on a few of these players here. Clay's at 7K, Jalen Green at 7K.
40 minutes a night.
Yeah,
40 minutes a night for Jalen Green.
Svi, I know the other day you were like, I don't want to play Svi at this price point. Well, I mean, dude, this is the price point he's at. So
I know
40 or more in 2 of the last 3.
And the season DFS, right?
It is what it is. DFS. That's what we're looking at here. Trey Murphy's figured out how to play with Ingram and McCollum. He's been really good. He's at $6,200. Anybody down here? Kispert maybe for you there in play?
Yeah, if Kispert continues to be the best shooter in NBA history, then possibly.
Listen, just jack up the threes.
No, I know you're right, and he's getting the minutes, and they're just without Monty Morris, so there's no reason not to think he's going to play another 40 minutes.
There's no Beal, there's no Porzingis. I mean, like he is the shooter on this team. So
who is in and who is out for the Spurs today? Vassell is out. Keldon's questionable, which he's doubtful, so he hasn't played in 5 days. Probably doesn't play again this year. Malachi Branham, he's 5,100. He actually played 30 minutes last game, which I think is encouraging because he hasn't been. But in a competitive game where they beat the Kings outright, like he plays. And he's been 29, 33, 26 fantasy points last 3 games. I don't hate that spot.
Yep. And then we mentioned Johnny Davis already, $4,200, probably the value play. Goodwin's down here as well at 4K. And then we'll just figure out who's playing for Denver, I guess, because there's some, could play.
Yeah, KCP I think KCP 20 minutes. Oof. Is that a blowout related? I think he left that game actually with an injury.
Anybody else down here for you, though, shooting guard?
I'm looking. I don't think so, but like I wouldn't put it past somebody random popping up. Like who's on Portland? Who is Jay Williams that played 13 minutes?
Right.
There could be somebody.
You mentioned they played Shaq Harrison, right? So I mean, like
they are literally scraping the bottom of the barrel. Oh, John, How about this one? Shooting guard. Skylar Mays played 30 minutes in each of the last 2 games for Portland, 28 and 30 fantasy points.
He's the former Hawk, right?
Yeah, former Hawk. He is 5 for 8 and 6 for 9 shooting. He was 1 assist shy of a double-double.
Well, he's $5,100, so I don't really want to pay that price, but
I know, but like 30 minutes?
yeah.
I'm just going to have, when we get to end of positions, I'm just going to go to Portland specifically before I answer that question to see who they have available.
At small forward, we have Jason Tatum at 10-4. We got LeBron James at 9,800. We have the greatest player in the NBA, Brandon Ingram, at 93. Kevin Durant is $8,900 here against San Antonio, coming off of a 50 fantasy point game for him. We'll see if Lauri Markkanen plays or not, but buckets against Detroit's 88, DeRozan's 82. Really strong plays there.
Yeah, so like Tatum, if Brown's out, is an obvious.
I would probably play Tatum against Philly anyways. I feel like he plays really well.
Probably.
Against
probably.
Averaging a double-double in 3 games against Philly this year.
And you don't have like a lack of value, and you won't have a lack of value.
And what do we talk about? Tatum without Rob Williams, right? The rebounds are there. So
rebounds are there. And he's averaged 11 rebounds against Philly this year.
Right.
In 3 meetings. I mean, look, it's all about who you want to prioritize spending. Sure. Tatum is definitely in play. I just haven't felt the need to get to LeBron. I know he's coming off a couple good games in a row.
Triple-double against Houston.
Just the minutes for me. Like, we're talking about a guy, maybe he plays more in that last game, but 32 against Minnesota, 31 against Chicago. I'm not sure that I need to ramp him up. Just like they're just now in the playoffs, right? Yeah. Like they're the 7 seed. They could get to the 5 seed realistically. I don't think they catch Phoenix. They would need to have Phoenix like lose to the Spurs today, pretty much. But they could get to the 5. And if they're going to continue to win, they don't need to extend LeBron, especially if what he said about his foot's true, that there was like a fracture and doctor said he should shut it down. But then he went to what did he say? He went to the LeBron James of foot doctors. Is that what he said? Yeah. Which is corny, but it is what it is. Don't really need to get there. Can definitely get to Ingram if you want. Look, they're favorites against Sacramento, who is one of the worst defensive teams. And if this game turns into a shootout, I mean, we have the right guy. We got the gun in the right hands, right? Brandon Ingram.
Definitely the right
Brandon guy. Ingram is 36, 31, 26, 29, 32, 30, 32 points. Like, this is an insane stretch of basketball for Brandon Ingram. Kevin Durant 89 is obviously like the question mark because I do not think this game is not going to stay competitive. Nope. Like, I know that they haven't really been blowing teams out with Durant. Like, they blew Charlotte out, and they blew the Bulls out, and he got 31 minutes, but like 40 minutes against Dallas, currently contending for a playoff spot. Minnesota currently in the playoffs. Denver, the 1 seed in the playoffs. OKC currently in the playoffs. Like, good teams they were playing against. Yeah. The Spurs, how do they keep it close?
No, I'm with you.
And then Butler in playoff mode.
60 fantasy points the other day, 35.
60 fantasy points.
Bam is not upgraded to probable for today, so
okay.
He's looking
and DeRozan 82.
That's what I said, really, dude. DeRozan and LaVine, again, there's really great price points here. We kind of want Trae Young to be active to make this game what we think it can be. In terms
I think I prefer LaVine only because the eligibility is better, because LaVine has the shooting guard small forward, and DeRozan has small forward, power forward, but I can't fault you.
I'll say this game is highly stackable with Trae Young at 86.
Agreed. Very cheap. If Trae sits. Well, and then if Trae sits, then you have everything. The doors just open up. They sat Sadiq Bey. You have you have literally anyone at your disposal. So like this game is very very.
Is Hunter out again?
Hunter is out, I believe.
Yep,
I saw that.
So Sadiq Bey at $4,800.
Started. Yeah, he started
38 minutes against Dallas.
He was great. So. Yeah, he was great.
Yep. So again, we're at small forward. Bey is probably going to be one of the better value plays on the slate here today. I would go right down to Cam J at 65 against Minnesota as sort of the next guy in the list of plays here. Again, it's how good is Mikal Bridges that day? That kind of depends on how everybody else does.
Yep. And if he's 9 for 27. Like we can,
Right.
Cam J scores 18.
Yep.
Or, I like that spot.
Where else are you looking down here in the 5Ks? Anybody?
I mean, if Jokic sits, Bruce Brown, Michael Porter, both here, 6K, 5-8. Porter coming off a ceiling game. I mean, Bogdan.
Bogdan played 25 minutes in that game.
Agbaji played a bunch of minutes. Kevin Knox being questionable is interesting.
29 minutes even with Watford back in that game. So
unbelievable. Sadiq is the obvious play down here.
Yep.
Bates Diop played 32 minutes last game. Probably plays 32 minutes again here if the game is competitive. Bryce McGowan's played 30 minutes last game, but he's been kind of low floor. Fontecchio kind of out of the rotation, I guess. Reddish questionable. I think Reddish, they just aren't playing. They're giving all the other Portland guys time on the floor.
Right. Poor Cam Reddish, man. Guy just cannot hold on to a job. That's probably it.
Yeah, Pat Will back to playing 24 to 26 minutes. Yeah. So, I'm sure. Again, wait. Let me check. Portland. Let me scan Portland. Thibault is also questionable, John.
Yeah.
So, so this guy's name is Jeanathan. Jeenathan.
Yeah.
Jeanathan Williams. 3K, 13 minutes last game. If you want to play Jeanathan.
I have zero interest in that. All right, let's go on over to the power forward position. And your top power forwards, Giannis is 11-4. Siakam's down to $8,700. Man God Evan Mobley's at $8,500. Continues just to play ridiculous amounts there. Kind of your top group.
I mean, there's no Middleton, so if Washington can keep this competitive somehow, I mean, we've seen what Giannis can do.
The last time there was no Middleton, right? Wasn't that against Indy? And Giannis went for 38, 17, and 12?
Yeah, him and Drew had the the SpongeBob Patrick meme where it's Patrick and SpongeBob throwing the lob as if they're Jordan and Wade.
Yeah.
Or LeBron and Wade.
And then they lost by 50 to Boston next night, so maybe they lost by
so, like, I'm okay getting to Giannis. We know he has a ceiling even in 29 minutes if that's what this game turns out to be, which probably is likely. Guess the right Siakam night and you win a prize, and the prize is you win a tournament. But he's going to play 38 minutes. That's what we love about Toronto. So if you want to get to Siakam, I have no problem getting there either.
All right. Jared Allen is back in the lineup for Cleveland here, but I always do kind of like Mobley.
Didn't matter. Didn't matter last game.
No, it did not. It did not matter. Jaren Jackson's at home against Portland. Gordon will be a pretty good play if there's no Jokic here against Houston.
Yep, he's been awesome.
We'll keep running that one out. Jalen Williams is $7,200. Any interest there? Tough game.
Probably not. Probably not with SGA back, but like if you wanted to get there, you can. And same thing goes for Scotty Barnes. We know Scotty Barnes has a ceiling too.
Okay. Jabari Smith, $6,300 seems fair.
Yeah, he's appropriately priced.
Yep. Anybody else? It's not like a ton of standouts.
Olynyk.
Sure, 15 rebounds the other day.
It needs to stay out of foul trouble. They could make the playoffs, so they're playing. I think they're gonna just play Kelly O until they're like eliminated.
34 minutes for John Collins. He's 5,100.
Yeah, I mean, with Hunter out, I think that just allows Collins, and then that also puts Sadiq in the small forward spot, right? So you're just like not losing out minutes for Collins. So yeah, another piece of this game stack if you want to get there.
Keegan also 5,100. He's bounced back after that really tough shooting night. 2 big games.
Shocker. Keegan Murray has a really bad shooting night followed by a really good shooting night. It's so weird how that happened, huh?
It is. Anybody else down here, power forward?
Omayuri playing a whole bunch of minutes again randomly. Bagley's out, I believe. So, if you wanted to go Omayuri, I don't hate it, but it's a tough spot.
Yeah, I was say it's a tough spot against.
But he's only 44, so it's not like we're paying a premium. We're paying quite a cheap price. It's 17 shot attempts last game. Yep. You're gonna get Kevin Love for 20 minutes. So it's what he does in those 20 minutes. Is if he gets you, he had a pretty big game last time out. Let me go to Portland, John, before we move on, because of course we got to check Portland. So they have Watford is questionable.
Yep.
Knox is questionable. Thibault questionable.
Where's
Reddish questionable. Nasir Little is out.
Yeah.
And so Jabari Walker. If Jabari Walker were to start, he took 11 and 12 shots in 19 and 20 minutes the last 2 games. Very encouraging.
Yep.
Over 20 fantasy points.
I don't mind Jabari Walker because he's actually played and I've heard of him before. So
yep. He is a real person that we think he's a real person. No, I'm just kidding. We've seen him out there. But I mean, he's been getting time. And so if all these guys sit and they have 8 guys, Jabari Walker's might play 40 minutes tonight.
Sure. Center position. Embiid's 11-1. Sabonis 10-1. Jokic 11-6.
Yeah, I like them all.
I agree with you.
I like them all. I like Embiid. I think I like Embiid the most, but I like them all.
Okay. Gobert's 8K. I guess it depends on what Counts is doing. Counts is questionable for this game here. It gets Brooklyn. As I mentioned, Ban's been upgraded to probable. Valanciunas is $7,400 here in that matchup against Sacramento. Claxton 71, Şengün 69. Maybe no Jokic in that spot there for him. Jared Allen 67. Pirtle against Charlotte 65. Top guys in the mid range.
Valanciunas minutes are back to being concerning again because they're in the 20s. So Larry Nance must be feeling better. I told you for a month, if Şengün stays out of foul trouble, he's going to play big minutes. And we've now gotten 33, 47, and 38 minutes from Şengün. 54, 41, 43 fantasy points, all 3 double-doubles. He is a fantasy point per minute freak. If there's no Jokic, no reason I'm not going back there at 69. He should be mid 7Ks at this price, or he should be mid 7Ks, high 7Ks if he's playing 30-plus minutes. No problem getting to Claxton in tournaments as long as he's playing 30 minutes.
Yep.
Jakob Poeltl, good spot, gonna play 30 minutes.
Yep.
Jared Allen, good spot, gonna play probably mid 30s minutes.
Yep. Capella at 6K could be forced into staying in the lineup there.
Yep.
Which we kind of like at 6K for him there.
The only thing with Capella is that they're not really playing Collins at center anymore. At least since Quinn Snyder, it's just Ngakoue. They're just splitting. It's a full split with Ngakoue and.
Yeah, I just wonder if Vucevic they'll force Capella into that spot a little bit more.
Yeah, but they could. Yeah, but that's not. They could just use. Ngakoue is a very good defender, so they could equally use Ngakoue.
Isn't he? Isn't he smaller than Capella though, or no? I thought he was.
They're both 6'10", 6'11".
Okay, I thought Ngakoue was smaller, but it looks like Mark Williams is probable for this game. So is it his turn in the rotation?
I mean, look what happens when he plays, dude. He's, 15 and 12 last game.
Mamu's at 58. Zach Collins is questionable.
Yep. Every time he's started, he's been a monster.
Gafford's going to start with no Porzingis. Minutes have been there recently for him. A tough spot against Milwaukee, obviously, but he'll be there.
Yep. He'll definitely be there.
Where else are you popping in on center?
I mean, we got 27 minutes out of Looney last game. Love that.
Yeah, if this game, I mean, it should stay competitive, right? He'll play the minutes if it is.
If it doesn't, Kuminga's there. Kuminga was playing big minutes games prior.
What happened to Steven Adams? Did he just die?
Yeah, he's been out. I think he's gonna come back for the playoffs.
Walker Kessel's out. Is it Azubuike you think starts this
center? Unless they go super small and use. So they also used your boy Luka Semenek.
Yeah. Could start Kelly at center, but
yeah, they could start Kelly O. I guess if one of these guys start, they have Damian Jones, revenge narrative, to play, but he hasn't played the last few games. Azubuike's been the backup center, and Semenek is also
for them a couple years ago.
So if he's the guy, then I have some interest. He's 3,900, so that's a pretty good price.
I'm with you there. Anybody else at center?
I don't, unless you see something that I don't. Nope. Do we have any what do we have for Portland? Eubanks is active. Yeah. Eubanks 5,800, 30, 38, 29 fantasy points in 3 straight games. He's just not playing 30 minutes. So, if
So
you
would they
want to.
have to play him 30 minutes tonight? I mean,
So they have John Butler, also questionable, who's, I guess, their backup center. They ruled out, I don't know who this person is. Watford has been playing low 20s minutes because the ankle. I mean, I guess, right? Like, if all these guys are ruled out, they have 1, 2, 3,
they could also
4.
have a guy active just to keep the game the minimum and then not play the guy. So
Yeah, so if Watford was ruled out, they probably have to just play Eubanks as many minutes as possible. Like if Butler Watford ruled out, then Eubanks is going to play.
I agree.
All the minutes.
All right, let's build a lineup here. Do we want to stack the Chicago Atlanta game with like we talked about earlier?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll go Trae Young. What? Trae Young, Sadiq Bey, or John Collins? Who's the second guy you'd go to there? Atlanta.
Sadiq. But I'm okay getting to either.
I think they're it's both just a couple $100 difference between them. So DeRozan,
Sadiq probably just with better eligibility.
Okay.
I like
LaVine.
LaVine is.
All right, so that's $5,100 a player with Young, LaVine, Bey, and DeRozan.
And so we have center to fill.
Yep.
Guard spot to fill.
And we definitely had some value, obviously, because you mentioned like 10 Portland guys. So.
Johnny Davis at guard.
Yeah, Johnny Davis.
4,200. Gonna play 30 minutes.
Johnny Davis.
The Spurs started. I forgot the Spurs started Justin Champagne the last couple games, and he had 26 actual in 28 minutes the other day. If Keldon were to sit, he's going to play another 28 minutes. That's another value potentially on the board.
Okay.
3,800. I'm not saying we have to play him because we also don't have official word on the Spurs, but 3,800 is a good price.
Let's see. Where else were we at? You mentioned Book Night. Diop's 46. Strus played 30 minutes the other day. I don't know what that was about, though.
He's just randomly in the rotation. And then, I mean, he's been in the rotation more because Oladipo's not.
Right.
Omiguri, 44. I know he stressed the matchup, but 17 shots last game.
I mean, Jordan Goodwin's 4K if you wanted to just double guard the Washington team.
I would feel better about it if Delon Wright is out, but Jordan Goodwin should play mid-20s minutes regardless.
Shaq Harrison's 39.
That could be something. They have everyone not healthy.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like,
he's put up.
Who was it? The power forward center there that we looked at?
Jabari Walker, 4,500.
Would you play him?
Yeah, as long as these guys are out, sure. I'm trying
to build a lineup. So, like, would he, like you said, as long as he's out?
If these guys are out, I would play Jabari Walker.
Right, do you want to build a lineup with them assuming they're out or in? Like, how do you want to go about this?
I don't know. They have 12 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They have 14 guys on the injury report. That's not even possible. I didn't even think that was possible.
Sure. All right, let's see if there's other value forwards then, so we can try to finish this out here. We have 54 play for center forward and utility. What was our? Do we have another under? You want to go Keegan Murray at 51?
I'm not a Keegan. Like, you like Keegan Murray a lot more than I like Keegan Murray. He is just such a.
He's been more good than bad, though, man.
But the zeros are zeros.
Sure, he's just been more good than bad.
We can play Keegan Murray if
I'm just looking, man. Again, I'm just trying to figure out a lineup, right? So it's 56 if you played Keegan Murray. Who was your center that you liked today?
I liked Şengün if there's no Jokic, but it's obviously not confirmed.
Not confirmed, right? I mean, Eubanks at 58. At the very least, he's playing 30, probably, right? 28 in that range.
Yeah, I assume so.
All right. So if we did Eubanks and Keegan, it's a $5,400 util.
54.
Yeah.
I
mean, John Collins is 51. We can just full stack this game.
Yeah, just full stack the game.
All right. Full stack. $300 left over. Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Sadiq Bey, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Eubanks, Johnny Davis, Keegan Murray, John Collins. Obviously, if Trae Young ends up being ruled out, we just go to DeJounte and we get a whole lot more money available to us in that lineup as well. If you have any questions, we'll be in the Discord. Season's coming to an end. A couple of days left, but we still have our promo available, 50% off. 6 months of the All-Pro package. You can use NBA 50. Finish out the rest of the NBA season with us. Go right into MLB DFS. You get the first month of the NFL DFS season covered under this 6 month 50% off All-Pro. It's $19.98 a month. So get in part of that action today. James, any final thoughts for the people at home?
Pay
attention to the injury news.
You just got to. I mean, it's just 13 games, 26 teams. Like, there's going to be
NBA is here. That's what we're
Yes, that is correct.
All right, guys. Good luck. We'll talk to you later.